Sam, we just heard some sell-side POV from Craig, right? He talked about some of the complexity on that end. You rep the buy side as an agency. Was there anything that you agreed with him or disagreed with from that sort of complexity side?
So first of all, I think everybody in this room has a different mousetrap trying to solve a different problem. So, so Craig's, in a different, he's trying to solve it for advertisers now, just like we're trying to solve it for advertisers. What I would say is, we always start with the marketing piece first. We don't go to Adtech. None of it is important. What is the marketer trying to solve, the advertiser trying to solve? And the best solutions are the simplest solutions, generally speaking. Now that being said, everyone in this room, we all know marketers, we need, obviously, to understand the customer, who they are, where they are. So for example, what Matt Hyde is doing is not absolutely solving a problem. Local is a huge challenge. But we're all trying to solve that in some way, shape, or form. But the second piece is we all have to bundle, measurement. We all have to bundle targeting. We all have to bundle identity. So, we're all dealing with this. I think the challenge is when you're dealing with an auto dealer, very different than when you're dealing with TurboTax. When the scale of some of the campaigns that we're running, they're massive. And so we have different sets of problems. Now, that being said, local is a huge opportunity. It's probably the area that's caving the fastest in terms of, linear television. And I think, it is not a winner take all. There's going to be lots of great solutions that solve for that. And, but, from an Adtech standpoint, what we want to be is simple, but not simplistic. We have to, and I think that's a real dance.
I want to change the question though then. Has Adtech enhanced or made any of your team's processes better or easier from the buy side?
Yes, for certain. Look, so there are probably 3 or 4 areas that are important, and I'll start with the first one. One is when we engage with a client, we immerse ourselves in the business. And when you immerse yourself in the business, the first piece is understanding the customer. And I think being able to translate the data and the insights we have about the customer and being able to activate on those, that's the first piece. And I think onboarding, extremely important. And some of that is onboarding to, be able to target, to retarget. Suppression equally is important. So from that standpoint, that's making our life better because I think activating first-party data is it. I think the second piece is measurement is complex. So in our prep call, we talked about this. So the way I view the world is we're playing a 3D chess game. And there's a chess game around inventory. It's very fragmented. There's a chess game around audiences. It's very fragmented. And there's a chess game around measurement. It's very fragmented. And we have to string solutions through those 3 pieces of the chessboard. So every client's different, though. I was talking earlier with the guys from Pachava. We have some clients that are app heavy. So we have to start there because that's when we think about the customer piece, it starts with the make. We have other clients that are retail or QSRs, it's a physical problem. We got to get someone, in a seat somewhere. So we build very bespoke solutions for clients, and we have to have partners to be able to package up the solutions in a way that delivers on what the marketer's goal is.
So are there core parts of the ad tech stack that you see are important moving forward? I'll preface that by saying everybody's testing. There's a lot of testing and collaboration happening right now. There's testing in currency. There's testing in identity. There's testing in targeting. And so it seems like there's room for a lot of players. At the same time, we also talk about consolidation nonstop, right? So it's like, we'll test a couple of identity solutions, but only a couple will stay. We'll test a couple of currencies, but only a couple will stay. Are there core elements of the ad tech stack that you see are going to be important moving forward?
Yes, I just talked about them. So definitely the audience piece is huge. The cross-screen measurement piece is huge. Those two pieces really matter. For example, if I go over our last year and talking about some of the things we've been doing, for a long time we've been partners with Roku, and now we're a managed service provider for Roku. And I've always loved Roku because I know that when someone signs up with the Roku service, they have a credit card, and the Roku ID matters. So when I see something like that, and when you look at the scale and the footprint of a Roku, what's embedded in it is you got scale, you have identity, and you also have the ability to target and do the things you want. And it's a massive addressable place. So it's a straightforward solution for clients.
That's a Roku ID. Does that mean we're going to have a Roku ID and a LiveRamp ID? And what is the other, where Joanna, the other?
Look, whether it's LiveRamp, TransUnion, there's a lot of ways to onboard data. But at the end of the day, I know the fidelity of what we're doing, the content, the targeting, all those things, it's on a platform that has massive scale. When I move off of a Roku, it becomes more challenging to measure. We made great strides this year, for example, with iSpot. We have a client that's optimizing daily across screens, across publishers, across platforms, and that client expects it to behave the same way everything else behaves. We made a lot of strides there. In terms of onboarding, doing lots of very cool things, whether it's with a LiveRamp, a TransUnion. Those things matter. We have to have plays in the playbook that are very specific. I look at the stuff we've done with Coachella, being able to measure, the efficacy not only of our linear advertising, but our CTV advertising and driving app installs. That's been a huge success. So there's lots of parts of the ecosystem I need. The difference is I build these solutions very bespoke for clients to solve their specific problem.
So are there any aspects of the ad tech ecosystem that you hope go down in flames?
No, anything that's not, the things that we value, so we have some very simple principles that we live by. One is we love big scaled environments that have a relationship with the consumer. And that's usually the path of, least resistance. And the first piece is I start with, one is obviously there's the client, customer, but the next thing I look at is where's consumption actually taking place? Mm-hmm. If you look at the most recent gauge, for example, Netflix, massive domination in time spent. Adam, we obviously are working with Netflix. Huge opportunity there. And they have a relationship with the consumer. I want to go to where the eyeballs are, and I want to go to the places that have a relationship with the consumer. I want to go to the places where I know we talked about the ad formats. We want the consumer, we don't want it to be annoying to the consumer. And so for us, almost everything we do, it's 80-20. We focus on the 20% that's going to deliver 80% of the value. And that is our focus. So not that ad tech isn't important, it's a means to an end for what we're trying to achieve.
So I think you said resellers are going down in flames.
Well, look, first of all, there are a lot of, every agency has a different go-to-market strategy. The holdcos are very different than the way they're operating at a scale that we're not operating at. And so their mousetrap is very different. And then there's other entities like us that don't have teams and staffs, and they need solutions too. So I don't think it's one way or the other, and I don't begrudge anybody in this. I think what we try to do is we do want to squeeze cost out of it for the client. We are truly a transparent agency. We don't mark up tech, we don't mark up media or anything. So when I go to a client, I want as much working media dollars as I can get to go against the most important customers in the most important places to deliver the return that the client is looking for. So that's the problem with the ecosystem, is everyone's got their hand in the cookie jar. And look, I don't begrudge you. That's not a problem. But it doesn't serve the client's best interest. We are an agent, and we're trying very hard to make sure we're a fiduciary. We've got a responsibility to drive efficiency.
So it sounds like you are willing to accept a certain amount of complexity on behalf of your clients, but almost like none more than necessary.
No, exactly. Again, we have sophisticated strategies, but we need simple solutions. So, I'll give you a good example. Magnite in the room, we're doing a lot of work where we do lots of direct path supply optimization. I mean, that's very healthy for our clients. And, there are very few hops on that. And that's very good. There's not a lot of hands in the cookie jar, and it's good for the publisher, and, it's good for the client in that particular instance. So, look, there's lots of ways to get there, and we're building these solutions. And I'll tell you, yesterday, since I came to the NBC thing, very interesting what they're doing. They are bundling lots of really interesting solutions. And the thing that sort of really caught my eye was, when you look at the footprint that NBC has, from Telemundo all the way to Bravo, I mean, they've got a crazy amount of footprint. It adds another dimension to the 3D chessboard, which is the content piece, which I think is going to be a very interesting, and for many of those in the room who are from the content world, that's a huge opportunity for you too, because now you can take that content and you can thread the needle, and then you can push that to a variety of places, and it brings value to the advertiser.
But admittedly, for NBCU, that also sounds like they're bringing some of the complexity in-house, right? So they're like, we can control the complicatedness of this by bringing this in-house.
That's a real solution. I mean, look, and again, bespoke solutions. We have some clients that will come in, and I think first of all, I'll give you an example. We have one that came in last week. It's a pitch, and as usual, they want big idea on small budget. We all know that, and brand resonance, whatever. And the problem is, if I come at them with 5 things and stack it, it's complexity for complexity's sake. If I go to an NBC and say, hey, this is a process, and you've got lots of tentacles, and we can build a solution that's bespoke for this, and you can bundle measurement, you can bundle identity, you can bundle those things. That's interesting to me. It's not for everybody, but for that particular solution, I can bring a sophisticated solution. The client can, be part of developing that, and they get everything they want. They get the measurement they want. They get to be able to use identity. They can be able to, in this particular case, by the way, there's some multicultural. And doing that on a small budget in a sophisticated way, very hard. So, look, I mean, it's not going to be one size fits all, and I think that's the key message is, our selling point to our clients is we're going to build things that are right for your business, and we're going to do our best to make sure we spend your money as if it's our own. And so, if that means fewer middlemen or fewer Adtech things, so be it. If there's an Adtech thing that makes that better, absolutely.
So it sounds like sophistication, not complexity.
Correct. Absolutely.
That's it. Thanks, Sam.
That's it.